Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Hitting. This is Matt Nokes. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the single most important principle for making adjustments to getting back into the zone. So within the one principle, there are three primary abilities or skill sets. Number one is our swing, number two is our mindset, and three is our timing. Okay, so the one principle is to only make timing adjustments on one front. So you pick your swing by finding your most efficient swing that's possible for today. It's what you do naturally anyways in soft toss. With your swing time repeatable, you're able to focus your automatic mind processing power on syncing the pitch time from within the timing toolbox, keeping your hands out of the mechanical toolbox. So it's how you make your final timing adjustments. Is you got to get your hands out of that mechanical toolbox. You can't just keep changing around. It's counterproductive to commingle those adjustments within the three primary skill sets because they all have their own toolbox. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because sometimes we feel like we intuitively know what to do, so we want to make a mechanical adjustment. And in those times it does happen, but more often than not, it's going to bite ourselves in the butt. Making adjustments on two fronts exponentially multiplies the possible timing adjustment combinations. Intuitively, we know not to do this in soft toss. In soft toss, we keep it extremely simple. We find a repeatable swing and then zero in on syncing the toss timing. Or in the game, you'd focus all your automatic mind processing power on timing the pitch. Okay, so once you've been armed with this truth, you're responsible for these insights in managing our game variables. Okay, so it's up to each individual to decide for yourself, but for me, once I learned this, it felt kind of lazy to kind of bounce around randomly making mechanical adjustments, simply because it's the way I had always been doing it my whole career. At some point, we become responsible for improving our tactics for coping with the more difficult variables we face in the game. Okay, so with lots of practice, trial and error, and tips from those who've come before us who know what they're doing, we turn these three abilities, swing, or mindset, and timing, into one working skill of hitting the ball. So along the way, we've practiced the drill of hitting soft toss, and we apply a simple principle that would drastically improve our odds of success when transitioning into the game competition, if we just listen. Managing the variables. So if you compare the game variables versus soft toss variables, in the game, you face a pitcher. Number two, the distance is roughly 5 times farther, increasing the degree of difficulty. Number three, they often use intimidation tactics that hitters have to cope with. 4, the pitch is meant to be unpredictable and difficult to manage. 5, now we've been encouraged to add variables in games because we want to feel like we're doing something about it, right? Because it's so difficult. So one of these variables that we add is we look for a release window. We don't add that visual when we're playing catch. We just don't. Playing catch, we find the release point by focusing on when the pitch is going to be released. So it's about the when, not the where. The where just happens naturally as a result of timing when the ball is going to be released, syncing release. So when we get in tune with syncing release, then we'll have the where. Hitting is so difficult in the game. By adding the release window, it gives a sense that we're doing something about it. That's why we do it, but ultimately we're adding a variable and losing sight of syncing release. It diminishes that ability to sync release. If we don't sync release, we get jumpy from not knowing when the ball is going to be released. Okay, so in soft toss, number one, person tossing the ball uses a simple, gentle, predictable arm swing. Number two, the distance is shorter, approximately about 12 feet, making the timing of that toss manageable. Number three, it's easier to filter a gentle arm swing compared to that violent pitcher's delivery. And 4, the toss is meant to be easy and predictable to manage. The main thing we do differently hitting in the game is messing around randomly searching for a mechanical feel adjustment, probably because it's tangible. We feel like we're doing something. When unwittingly, we're randomly changing how long it takes our bat to get to the ball. Adjusting mechanically is actually our default setting in the games, but it's not our natural go-to adjustment in soft toss. So it's not a default setting in soft toss, but it is in the game. because it's just what we're used to doing. In soft toss, we lock in our swing time to focus all the powers of our automatic mind for processing the pitch time. This way, we're only making adjustments on or in one of the three primary abilities: swing, mindset, timing. We're only making adjustments in one of those areas. This cuts down on all the processing variables and limits errors to one system at a time. So in games, we shuffle the deck with every random mechanical adjustment without giving our automatic mind the opportunity to match the pitch time to a predictable, repeatable swing time. We've got to match the swing time with the pitch time. So we're shuffling the deck every time we change our swing time. Because if we keep our swing time the same, then we can focus all that attention on the pitch time. That's the point. So to get your swing locked in, all you need to do is focus mechanically on making your swing repeatable. With your swing feel selected and repeatable, all your focus can turn exclusively to timing the pitch. Does that make sense? So your automatic mind can now make intuitive pitch timing adjustments, operating exclusively on pitch timing and within that timing toolbox. Divided attention. How is your powerful automatic mind going to do the impossible, hitting a ball thrown over 90 miles an hour by someone trying to make it impossible for you to hit it, if you're making timing adjustments within two different skill sets at the same time? Simplifying. It's best to simplify one ability, our swing, so we can focus all our attention on the two abilities, timing and mindset. This is exactly what we do in soft toss. You're free to naturally transfer and flow into the ball on time without tapping the brakes, because we do that. The timing toolbox is coping with the pitcher like you do when you're playing catch. And you don't add complexity, you subtract. One simple analogy that I mentioned is playing catch, and you don't look for a release window. You feel the beat. So to expand on that, you actually feel the beat of when release is going to happen, and your eyes are just there. They're just there at release. You simply see the ball being released without trying. The timing does the work. Seeing the ball efficiently is about the when and not the where. That means you're locked into the feel, timing, and the beat of release, and not the clumsy release window idea or the box area. You're keeping it lined up and trying to follow along with the pitcher's delivery. Adding complexity or another step, something you don't do naturally playing catch, literally takes your focus off the when, and you can get surprised, jumpy, and strung out. Yet it almost never happens playing catch. There's a whole arsenal of rehearsals that you can use to desensitize yourself from all the distractions of the pitcher, the fear and the doubt, so that you can become intentional about your preparation. Having a good filter while receiving instruction. You know, coaches tell me all the time that they always have told their players to focus and study the pitcher and to get their timing down. But they never actually told them what that meant, one piece at a time. And like learning to smoothly play the chords on a guitar, it's not that difficult. I know it's an oversimplified example, but I play the guitar a little bit. And with the amount of time I devoted on timing the pitcher versus playing the guitar, there's no comparison. As baseball players from Little League, it's all we do. I mean, we're committed. We're basically professional players once we accept the challenge. Players today, going to school and playing high school and college ball, they're already committed 100%. So learning a few rehearsals to gain certainty just makes sense. You want to be improving every day, adding to your efficiency, but you don't want to be just randomly changing your swing, because that just changes the time it takes you to get to the ball. But not to be confused with, okay, every day I try to get more efficient, fine. And even if my efficiency is the same from one day to the next, every day my swing is going to feel a little differently, or I'm going to feel differently about my swing. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. Every day we take a few moments to feel our swing and to get the efficiency. And once we've found that feel for our swing, we need to just lock that in. Players today going to school and playing high school or college, they're already committed 100%. So learning a few rehearsals to gain certainty just makes sense. And to continually randomly searching for a new swing feel by changing your mechanics and looking for that new swing feel just to get locked in, it turns out to be something that's kind of lazy. But in truth, it's not lazy if you don't know any other way, because most of us, we didn't know, so it's not lazy. But now that you know, you need to think it. Just give it some thought. Okay, so the principle is something we all sense deep down, But when we start competing in games, the degree of difficulty dramatically increases. And the only time we feel those three skills working together is when we're actually in the zone. That means you're not holding back. You take off the emergency brake, and you don't even tap the brakes. You just flow. So hitting without the knowledge that we've been completely changing the process, the way we process. So our automatic mind is saying, I can't perform miracles every time. You got to keep using the same mechanics so I can hit what I'm swinging at. Your automatic mind just can't keep performing miracles if you keep changing the just keep changing the rules of the game. You got to just pick a swing that works, that's repeatable, and use it. So what have we been doing all this time? We've been managing our bodies, becoming overly cautious, reducing power and trading it in for control. Now, there's nothing wrong with all that. We should get more discipline in every way, but those decisions should be educated decisions, so we know where the trade-offs are. We've been hitting without knowing the score. So incremental growth. Every day, we need to become incrementally more efficient in each of the three skills and keep the toolboxes separate and tidy. It's what we do in soft toss. Be brutally efficient mechanically, be brutally efficient with our timing so we're free to attack, be brutally efficient with our plan and stick with it. Without this, we're a lot more cautious. So everything you do in the physical realm, managing your body movement, instead of the swing being the easy part. We make the swing the difficult part of hitting when it's the easiest in soft toss. Giving yourself a chance to be a natural hitter is letting your automatic mind spend most of its processing speed on timing. I know people throw around natural hitting all the time without defining it. This principle enables you to pull off a good swing with good bat speed without having to be perfect. You're not concerned about times when you miss by a few feet even, when the speed changes. When you miss and you're on your game, you've actually experienced the miss. You can still look fastball, and your automatic mind processes fast enough to bring the pitch close enough to rip it the next time when it comes in. Okay, so it's okay when you miss because you just experienced the miss. And then the next time the guy throws it, you're going to be right on there. So to the best of my recollection, I never heard this explained to me along the way. And this would have been a game changer for me. I spent a lot less time in a state of hitting limbo and more time feeling in the zone, consistently hitting the ball hard. So I remember, for me, getting pissed off would put me back into the zone, because when I'd get back to that one swing, that one feel, with my automatic mind just locking in, because once I would just put that swing behind me and build up momentum and just know that that swing was going to be consistent, I could count on it, that I wasn't going to worry about it anymore, then all my attention could be focused on the pitch time. 99% of the people go on developing their skills, and they look the part with finely tuned skill sets, but the transition into the game begins a journey of trial and error, searching, randomly adjusting, with there only being brief moments experiencing themselves in the zone, that in the zone feeling. So what's the cost there? The cost is that you're going to, you could look the part, go down this road and journey, but if you're not applying this principle, you're basically saying, down the road, I don't really care if I play in the big leagues. You're literally not even going to give yourself a chance to play in the big leagues if you don't consider this principle. So do you want to spend all this time playing baseball and then not have a chance? I don't know if I would. So for most hitters, after a couple games of feeling good, they snap right back into their state of limbo, forcing them to make even more adjustments and exploring every mechanical combination ad nauseum, right? And the errors keep compounding. Just remember, there's a toolbox for developing brutally efficient mechanics, toolbox for a laser-focused mindset, and a toolbox for natural timing. A question to think about. You probably heard me or another big league active or former player say, it's easier to get to the big leagues than it is to stay in the big leagues. And then never stop improving, get a little bit better every day. As soon as you stop improving, your time in the sun playing in the big leagues will probably run out. The 1%, the big league hitters, keep mechanics, mindset, and timing issues separated with their own toolboxes. And as you read on, you'll see why. Only hitters that do the work and stay disciplined become the big league hitters. The popular belief. The popular belief is being constantly reinforced by what the mainstream is telling us, and certainly what our natural inclination is urging us to do. We all started out learning how to hit by randomly adjusting our feel. It just seemed to be the only thing we knew. The first instinct for fixing our swing when we start struggling is to run down to the batting cage and start banging on the ball. Why? Because once in a blue moon, everything will sync up mechanically. And you'll face that one type of pitcher that you find easy to hit. So you get hot for one day and then it's back to the drawing board because it's random luck. Because every time we randomly adjust our mechanics, we're actually adjusting our timing. Mechanical adjustments affect timing because any adjustment in your swing mechanics will rearrange all the timing variables. Making random mechanical adjustments every at bat with every pitch is crazy because it's what we do. The very definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. A trap that coaches, players, dads, moms get into is thinking one more piece of information is going to solve our problems. It's a trap. Just do a Google search for hitting and you'll find 170 million hits or voices giving you that one more piece of information. But they just become another random mechanical adjustment or something else to think about to draw us away from this common sense that I'm sharing with you. We're always adjusting our mechanics, except hitting is timing. 99% of players and coaches go through their career thinking the only way to make adjustments is find a new feel, and that's scary. When we got in this mess, when you started Little League, you were between 5 and 8 years old and shoved into competition before you knew what you were doing. And 10 to 12 years go by and you're in high school, you're bigger, stronger, quicker, better hand-eye coordination, and your swing is better, but you really don't know much more about hitting than when you first started in Little League. So what's going to happen at the next level? The pitchers will always get better year after year. As a rule, good pitching will always get out good hitting. The answer: we got to be smart. What pitchers will never do is take away our pitch in the zone. Our pitch in our zone. It's up to us to ensure that our pitch is effortless to get to. Our pitch will always remain sitting on a silver platter if we let it, or if we make it, if we're intentional about it. The 3 abilities that we need to develop throughout our career, you have to refine these skills on a daily basis if you want to play D1 college ball or get to the big leagues or stay in the big leagues, of course. Brutally efficient mechanics, a laser-focused mindset, and natural timing. The brutally efficient mechanics are based on natural movements, probably stuff you already know. A laser-focused mindset is based entirely on the Major League plan. And the natural timing talks about just being free to flow, being free not to tap the brakes, and you're just free going into the ball, because timing on the most primitive level could be described as transferring into the ball on time. It's natural timing. Okay? Intentionally mastering the 6 timing touchstones, which I have in one of my programs. So you can cope with all the timing variables that way. The name of the game is being able to quickly and easily refine these 3 skills and make them work in automatic mode as one skill set. There's a toolbox for your mechanics, and it's to make your mechanics more efficient. When your timing is out of sync, don't panic. Reach back in your mechanical toolbox and randomly start messing around with your mechanics to change your timing. Don't do it. If you keep doing that, you're just shuffling the deck. When your timing is off, we can talk about how to use your timing toolbox to cope with and filter out the pitcher's motion, sync release, and begin accurately timing the pitch. So imagine what your life would be like if you could wake up, do a 5-minute routine, and be refining all 3 of these abilities into one skill set programmed to be automatic. Imagine how we'd feel when the game is more like hitting soft toss. So if what I've been talking about resonates with you, my team and I have blocked out some time to speak to you personally and to apply these ideas to improve your performance right away. So whatever your biggest challenges are, we've seen it and we know how to overcome it. If you're not a serious hitter, this is not for you. If you are, here's how I can help. If you're on the path to playing at a higher level, if your dream is to play college ball, maybe Division I, and after that professional baseball, maybe even the big leagues, if you're willing to do whatever it takes to reach your dreams, if that's you, then go to mattnokes.com/apply. Go to mattnokes.com/apply and book a strategy session so we can talk. Once again, go to mattnokes.com/apply and book a strategy session so we can talk.